When I share my story, it's about more than building an inspirational space for artists. I represent the creative spirit of the nation, the Choctaw Nation.
I am our past.
I am our present.
I am our future.
I am all of us. When we share, we become one.
Because our stories make us more.
Stories keep our culture alive.
See them and share them at togetherwe'remore.com.
It's called Hollywood. Lights, camera, action. Hollywood Brown. CD Lamb still running. Into corner. CD for the TD.
People don't know what it is to be champions. Oklahoma invented it.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Alan Kenny of Through the Keyhole, an Oklahoma football podcast. Thanks so much to all our sponsors, including the Spirit Shop and Kaizen Performance in Norman, Home Field Apparel, and our title sponsor, the Choctaw Nation. While I got you here, please make sure to give us a rating and review, and hopefully a good one, on your favorite podcast platform. You can also support us by signing up for our Patreon at patreon.com/throughthekeyhole. We got the Red River game between the Oklahoma Sooners and Texas Longhorns at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas on Saturday. That means it's time for our annual check-in with Bomani Jones, host of The Right Time with Bomani Jones, a Wave original. Let's welcome him on. Bo, what's up, man?
Hey, man, doing all right. How about you?
Oh, I can't complain. You know, before the season started, I had Bill Conley, ESPN, on. You know, we were talking, and we figured out it was something like our 15th preseason podcast, and I don't know how many of these we've done in a row, but it's got to be getting close, man.
I think it's got to be more than 15.
It's a lot, man.
Yeah. I do believe these stacked up on us, and we did not realize it.
Oh, man. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's one of my favorite shows of the year. Our boy Lamont hit me up last night, like, when you have Bomani on? So it was like, patience, man, patience. So,
yes.
Yeah, so here we are, man. But I got to ask, first of all, hey, I was catching up with your podcast this morning, your show with Howard Bryant. You guys are talking movies? Like, what is this?
Yeah, so long of the short is I've got some extra episodes to do for reasons that don't really matter. But I got to fill out some more content. And so, programming out a show, having Dominique available every Friday really made my life a lot easier. And now he is available once a month on Friday, which means that's a lot more. Like, that 3 shows doesn't sound that important, but I keep a tight guest list. And so I can only ask people to do so much so often for free. And so we kind of need to fill out some things a little bit more. And so I decided, after Howard's a super movie junkie, and I knew this about him. Spencer also is movie guy like that, but I don't think anybody would find that to be terribly surprising. But anyway, I just had an idea after watching one battle after another and kind of talking to him about it and some other people. I was just like, hey, let me see how the audience feels about some movie discussion, because I'm not a big movie guy, but I do feel like when I do watch movies, I have worthwhile things to say about them. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's see if the audience likes it. They watch movies, right? So we'll see how it goes.
Well, I mean, the dialogue and Howard got into this, especially with the social media algorithms and everything, how much it's kind of impacted maybe the way we interpret one battle after another, which, I mean, I really loved as a movie. I think that you guys made some really strong points, though, about what maybe the message of it is,
Right.
I was watching that thinking okay, so I remember when Leonardo DiCaprio was a young guy coming up, and now, you're watching this, and the whole thing is he just looks tired and old. You know what I mean?
Right.
It tried to do the revolutionary game and all that. And to me, it was almost more this is about just how much commitment and energy it takes. You know what I mean?
If you're gonna be about some revolution, which I think a lot of people have learned in this social media era, hey, I want to do something important, and then you realize chances are your cause is never ending.
Right. Yeah.
And that, I think, is a part that people really, really, really lose sight of. And I thought that one thing I hadn't really thought about until you mentioned it right there is that the DiCaprio character eventually burned out on it. He couldn't remember none of the code words, the passwords, nothing else. He was just trying to lay low.
Yeah, I've been abusing drugs and alcohol for 30 years.
Yes.
You get it, man. You get it. Yeah. But we're here to talk about the Oklahoma Texas game coming up this weekend. But first, just a general thing about college football and football, really, kind of in general. It's kind of filtering up to the NFL, but like watching football now is kind of weird. And I don't mean that in like the transfer portal and NIL, although that's probably related, but it's like, man, the defenses in football now, it seems like they're all playing like the version of like basketball's 2-3 zone. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of bend but don't break. And the
Right.
offenses, the quarterbacks all stink. The offensive lines don't seem to be very good from what I understand. No one seems to like run the ball well. It just feels like we're going through this weird kind of iteration, like almost like what it was when everybody decided like that one point in the 2000s, like, oh, we need to do the spread. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what it feels like we're watching to me. I don't know if you feel the same way.
I feel that to a degree. I think like the offensive line stuff, I think is a function probably of portal and NIL stuff because I feel like when you really think about it, offensive linemen probably have the most leverage,
Yeah.
like from year to year. And so I was thinking about this last year in the context of Colorado, where Deion Sanders, we don't need no stinking high school players approach. I don't think that works for offensive line, right? Like number one, I believe that you do wind up with a team with a whole lot of quitters on it. Like not everybody's going to be a quitter, but a few of those guys are going to be there because they quit on somebody else, right?
Yeah.
But I also think that what makes a good offensive line is about continuity and the synchronicity between the guys there. And I don't think that you can just drop off new guys in every year and make that work. Playing offensive line in college football or coaching offensive line is probably a better way to put it. You're rotating typically 8 or 9 guys in per game, right? Like if you pay real close attention, it don't look the same every drive, right? Like everybody's rotating in and out. And you can't just start that over every year. And so I haven't looked so much at the stats on what goes on, like what the rates of transfer are with offensive lines. But that would seem to me to be like an obvious place that we get there. What I think we're probably waiting on is somebody's got to come up with the next great strategic advent, right? That evolves what offense is. Because the NFL hasn't really evolved at that rate, but we could go through in college football and look at what the major movements are, right? That change the game. You go from the advent of the veer in the mid 60s to the late 60s to the wishbone being added, right? You keep going. You get to the 80s where we're now looking more at I formation. You get to the pro style offense comes in, and that kind of runs you through the 90s. And then you get to the place where it's okay, now we start spreading this out a little bit, right? Then you get to the Art Briles, Briles of it all start showing up where it looks like we're passing, but we're really running all the time and everything else. So what's the next thing that's going to happen? Because once you wind up and everybody's done all the things, then everybody schemes around what there is to be done, right? The NFL has this thing now. Everybody's playing 2 high safeties. It's not a lot of fun to watch.
No, yeah, right. A lot of field goals. It kind of comes down to how good are you in the red zone, which, I can't never tell if that's just a matter of luck or if there's actual skill to it or what. You know what I mean? I guess it helps to have a Jalen Hurts or whatever, a quarterback you can run down there, right? But
yeah, I think the quirk that happened there is, in the end, it all comes back to no matter what the nerds say, and it really is only the nerds that try to push this on you. It's really important to run the fucking ball, man.
Yeah.
Like it's every cliche about running the ball is true.
Right.
Every single one of them. And aggregate statistics are not going to tell the story in that case, right? Because it's going to come down not to what happens in the larger sample, but what happens in very particular high leverage moments.
Yes.
And you got to be able to run the ball to win those.
Yeah, and the way I put it too is like that whole thing about, when you throw the ball, X number of things can happen and most of them are bad.
Yeah, 2 of them are bad.
Yeah, right. Like, the thing about it is when I turn around, if I'm just turning around and handing the football off, that's the easiest fucking play in football. You know what I mean? There's the amount of coordination that it takes with different receivers plus the line plus whatever. You don't have it. I remember watching that 2017 Oklahoma-Georgia Rose Bowl, and it gets to halftime, and OU's up, and all my friends are like, oh, they can't stop us and everything. And I was like, guys, the problem is Georgia's getting 20 yards every time they snap the ball and turn around and hand it off. And eventually that is going to be a real problem, and you see it, there it goes.
Here's the question. You ever been hit in the mouth before? I've been hit
Yes.
in the mouth
Yes.
before. And if you've never been hit in the mouth before, have you ever hit anybody in the mouth before? It changes things.
Mhm.
Like everything that happens after hitting someone in the mouth or being hit in the mouth is a function of that moment when you got
Right.
hit in the mouth. It really matters, man. It really matters.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of people that have been hit in the mouth, man, not the start to the season that the Texas Longhorns expected as the preseason #1 team in the country. And you really can't talk about Texas this year without starting off talking about Arch Manning. And I mean, I was listening to one of your shows before the season, and the point you made is, I think, was a really good one, that he was I mean, everything about him was about reputation, right? Like, he was everybody bought into the he's supposed to be this, and without like having actually seen him do this, right? So I mean, is that an unfair situation, or is that the way you still see it? Or I mean, I don't know, what do you think?
I mean, so to start this, the media beast fed itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Paul, and this is a thing that happens at ESPN, is somebody says the thing on ESPN, and now that feeds content on ESPN for like the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul Feinbaum gets on TV in the morning and says that Arch Manning is the best college quarterback since Tim Tebow, and now that feeds the question all the way down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a relatively harmless question, so people are not going to take the obvious right answer. How am I supposed to know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so they're going to jump on sides and they're going to balance. Like it's kind of like it reaches like an equilibrium of how television works and how television is made. Now, to me, the irony and hilarity of that is there have been maybe 5 or 6 quarterbacks since Tim Tebow that were better quarterbacks than Tim Tebow. So we start with an initial premise that is preposterous to begin with, right? So then it goes, and I mean, I guess the part that I've always found to be strange about this is he's not even Peyton or Eli's kid; he's their nephew.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like how ridiculous is the idea that we've done this? And it feels like the two people that seem to at least have demonstrated themselves to be the most aware, and in one case self-aware about what's going on here, are Archie and Arch Manning, the
Yeah.
two of them. Like they seem to be when Archie said he's coming back for his senior year, and everybody said it was crazy. Peyton and Eli came back for their senior
Right.
years.
Yeah.
Like what are you talking about? There was never a time that Archie was going to have that boy leave. Like that was never going to happen. So now we get to the year, and he has a set of issues that lead me to believe that most of the problems are mental, which is he is excellent against bad teams, and it all falls apart against good ones.
Yeah.
Part of that is they don't have a very good offensive line, right? There's a generally average offense, but it is not a good offensive line. They're not converting any third downs. Maybe you put some of that on Arch, maybe you don't, right? But when you look at it, I still think it kind of comes down to they're running the ball. It helps, and they're only okay at running the ball. All the talent they got on offense, it hasn't really checked out. The defense, great job, fellas. Like I don't think that anybody's complaining at all about the defense that they have. I also would say this, to be fair to Arch and everything else. Yeah, there were some bad games. Yeah, there were some decent games. Lose to Ohio State in week 1, people will let you slide. But we had written Florida off for dead. And then for that to go the way it did, couple of splash plays, but for that to go the way it did, hey man, he's just not that good right now.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, I mean, you see this in other cases where the people around the quarterback are laying him down or are not, I mean, aren't that great, right? But then it's like sometimes the quarterback has the tendency to then make things even worse. And, you see sometimes I mean, like, to be fair, Arch hit a couple really nice throws in that game, but he's holding on to the ball a long time, kind of like playing like he's got a line that he doesn't have. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not knowing what to do when you're there. And so that gets us back to Sark world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sark and Lane both interest me because they are both kind of equal parts products of the two best college football coaches of the last 25, 30 years, right? Saban and Carroll. They come from both schools, which are not terribly dissimilar schools of thought on how to play football. And places where you're going to get a lot of run being the offensive coordinator because those other guys got other things to be concerned with, and those other things play defense. Okay, cool. But we called, before he got that Saban shine on him, we called Steve Sarkisian 7-win Sark for his tenure at Washington, which is not a job where you should consistently win 7 games. We've seen 2 coaches after him win a lot of games at Washington. He consistently won 7 of them. He seems to have built this program in more of a Saban image in Texas and gotten them up to speed and adapted to what they need to do for the SEC. That's cool. But the reason that boy is even playing football at Texas in the first place is the belief that Steve Sarkisian was the best person to develop him as a quarterback. And there is a fair question to be asked about why has that not happened? Because it doesn't simply just look to be the reason is because the young man is not talented enough. He is talented. He should be better than this. And I don't feel like this season has not been a good look for Sark. No. I think that would be a fair point to make.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that. And in a way too, like, I don't know, man. I always felt like the whole quarterback whisperer thing with him was always kind of inflated, right? I mean, like, did yours get better in 3 years? Like, I didn't see it, you know?
Right. I mean, I think we forget that Arch Manning is the most hyped quarterback recruit at Texas since Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, the last guy, right? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. But I mean, he was working with Saban, but man, like, did you see the dudes on that team around Mac Jones? I mean, like, there's just, man, I don't know. I just feel like, I think that, I mean, one thing that he also had in the beginning, right, was, I mean, he had a lot of investment since he had the Saban, imprimatur. He got a lot of investment from boosters when it came to stuff like building up the infrastructure, like the offensive lines, which is, we've talked about this. We do, like we were saying, we do this show however many years now. We've talked about the, inability of Texas really to identify or to develop offensive linemen for decades, right? And now they finally got that going, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Like, that was the part that is kind of just shocking, is like they had it, right? They had the right idea, and then all of a sudden it's like it dropped off a cliff.
Crazy. Because look, man, if you get some guys up there moving furniture at Texas, nobody's going to beat you. You're going to be able to get everything else that you could ever use. Like, where you can struggle sometimes, because it's a little less important now because of the NIL situation, but that's a job where you have to recruit in state. Because I think something that is lost is that Austin, Texas is really only close to stuff in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they can't get the best players from, like Houston, Dallas, draw the radius. It's a tricky place, right? The state historically has not produced a lot of linebackers, which doesn't matter nearly as much in this day and age, and has historically not been great with interior defensive linemen. Everything else, come on down, man. Yeah. You got everything you need here. Everything. Yeah. If your guys can block, nobody can do anything with you, and they're back to not being able to block.
Yeah, it's been pretty shocking. I mean, like, it was shocking to be watching Texas last season, because I was like, what is this offensive line? Like, this is not Texas, like, I have not what I've seen. And then all of a sudden it's like, this is a worse version of whatever it used to be almost, I mean, it's, that's one where I think that, people ask me, like, what's wrong with Texas this season? And I hate to say it, like, I really do think it is Sark. Like, this somehow to me reflects like poor planning or management or something,
I mean, he responds to questions like he's the problem.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
I mean, look, I was here for Mac, so like I know what a defensive, and I don't mean defensive like defense. Yeah. I know what a defensive head coach looks like. I seen one of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The one about how many other teams would won when they went to Florida.
Oh, come on, man! This is not like you're not. Especially considering this isn't the first time that he's coached at a big boy school.
Yeah.
that I would
Right.
think that you would know that that can't be your answer.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the way I'm looking at this though now is like obviously Brent Venables came into this season having plenty of heat on him, right? I mean,
Yes.
you know how that goes, right? So I think there's an interesting question though as to which coach really needs this game more, which is I wouldn't have said coming into the season, but the way things have gone right now for Sark, I kind of look at Texas and wonder like, you're going from preseason number 1 to a team where like end of the year you're going to have 4 losses, maybe something like that. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's not with the the most supposedly the best quarterback recruit of all time with I
Right.
mean a lot of investment too from boosters. So like I kind of look at it like there's a situation brewing here where Sark won't be like getting fired or anything like that. We're not talking about that, right? But he's really been given a lot of leeway to this point, it seems like, to kind of run things the way that he wants. And you know how it is at Texas. You've got more people with not only more money but more they're very willing to express their opinions. You know what I mean to you? Like that's to me that's the meddling and that kind of stuff is what I would be more concerned about in the short run for him, you know?
Yeah, but I do think that he has demonstrated proof of concept
Yeah.
in the previous 2 seasons, which Venables hasn't done. Like I think,
Mhm.
and I don't follow like college football coverage to the molecule like I used to. But I have not noticed what I think, and you and I have talked about this,
Mhm.
is a truly fascinating thing, which is Oklahoma for the first time playing in a conference not surrounded by the former Big Eight.
Mhm.
Like I've always felt the SEC experiment was going to be something very different for OU fans because, with the exception of the 1990s, you could write down 10, 11 wins
Mhm.
every single year. And not, I mean, obviously, much of that was because of the infrastructure and just like, that heavy dose of want to that
Mhm.
Oklahoma has, right? It's been a good program, but this was going to be different, right? There are no, the Big Eight was a bunch of schools where nobody had any natural built in advantages. The
Right.
closest was Oklahoma with its proximity to the state of Texas. There is no advantage that OU has moving into the SEC. And we've seen Texas and OU both move really hard to becoming SEC schools. Like when I went and visited the OU facilities in 2024, they ain't have anything with any evidence of the Big 12 on it. If it was a
Yeah.
picture that had a Big 12 patch on a jersey, they were not allowing that to be there. Like, and watching this defense, right? Hey man, you and I remember when Venables had to go.
Yeah.
Like, well, Venables lost in the Venables trip to Clemson it was time for him to go.
Yeah.
He is back, and it looks like a Venables Stoop production on
Mhm.
defense. They have a quarterback that, if he is healthy, may be the best quarterback in the country. Although it is an offense that has not put up numbers that indicate that it has the best quarterback in the country. Neither here nor there.
Mhm.
But if Venables can rattle off a 10, 11 win season, to me, I think that matters a lot more than people are giving it credit for. Because the SEC at its top is, look, I always say Alabama's the only school that plays for a national title every year, right?
Mhm. Yeah, that's right.
Georgia is the job where it's probably the easiest to put together a juggernaut roster. LSU was another school where you could do that, but LSU was a really plus or minus 9 win school and has been for its entire
Mhm.
history, right? Like it's not the the ceiling is high, but the name don't ring. The name rings out more than the performance. Auburn is another school like that. Tennessee is a weird case because it had this like interesting 10 or 15 year period. But you can get a lot done at Tennessee, but at the same time, Tennessee is Oklahoma just farther to the east
Bingo.
in terms of everything. When you talk about everything, Florida is a job that isn't quite as good as it looks like it is because of the nature of the geography of the state of Florida. They only really get one piece of it. They can't just guarantee to walk into the South or walk into the North and get everything. It's like if Venables can demonstrate that you can consistently make the playoff at OU in the SEC, I think that goes a long way to what his future is, where I think Sark can answer for a bad year right now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I guess I think I'm looking at it too, though, for Sark, like in the long run. I mean, you know, man, you go 8-4, say this year, or 7-5. That means that you got to change up stuff on your staff. Well, you probably just with the way the offensive line's gone, for example, you probably need to think about that anyway, you know?
Yeah.
So
I actually think, though, I put Texas in the same bucket as I put Ohio State, and I would even go so far as to put LSU in this bucket, which is schools that are more patient than people give them credit for being, right?
yeah.
Like, like you go look at LSU. Les Miles got to lose to Alabama 5 times in a row,
Yeah.
and they brought him back for a year to lose the sixth. Like
Yeah.
he got fired before he could get there. But they'll give you some time. Ohio State let John Cooper win 2 games against Michigan in 13 years. Like when people say, "Oh man, I think Ryan Day might have got fired if they didn't win the national championship," they don't really do that, right?
Yeah.
Even Alabama, they don't fire you; they make you quit.
Yeah.
Right?
Just make your life miserable, right?
Yeah. You don't like the administration actually gets it. Like that's not your problem. But Texas is another one. Matt got to lose to OU 5 years in a row with
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them being just flatly embarrassing.
Yep.
And he got out now. If they had lost that game to Kansas in 2004, I do think he then gets fired, and then Urban Meyer or Nick Saban get that
Yeah.
job, and everything is a lot more interesting.
Ooh.
But you get a little more. But I think they're a little more patient. But they don't make you want to quit, but they sometimes make you wish you had quit.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Sark will be. Now, I wouldn't do it twice. I wouldn't do it twice. And here's where I think they're lucky, as weird as it sounds. At least they don't have to play Texas Tech anymore. And I only say that because Texas Tech is like the new University of Houston sort of thing, where they're going to be able to have some high ceiling years through chicanery.
Yes.
And it's not chicanery anymore. They're just spending money on a few high dollar items.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, you get that one dude who's like, I want to build a great college football team and bankroll it. And we know all the challenges with Texas Tech historically, right? But
challenge is called Lubbock.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't understand what it is, it's Lubbock. It's not close to players.
Well, the funniest part too is like their GM coming out and saying like, we recognize we got to pay about a 30% premium to get kids to come here, and it's like, but they got it now, so they're willing to pay that. It's just, man, yeah. But let me ask this, okay? So Venables this is his 4th year as head coach. He's 1-2 right now against Texas. If he loses this game, does he officially have like a Texas problem in your mind?
I think that it is a fair question to ask if he has a problem, right? Now, I'm trying to go back in my mind and remember all these games. Now, I do remember that one. What was it, about 847 to nothing? I can't remember exactly what the score was.
Yeah.
But it was, and look, I am 45 years old. That's the first one of those I remember OU taking in this entire series. Because I remember you and I both had the same thing. We watched that game. I don't even really follow Texas the same way that I used to, but I still watch that game by myself, and I wait till after the game to text you, and I was just like, "Oh man, you good? You good over there?"
It was the most, the kind of, it was the most kind-hearted thing you could have done, man. It was like,
I understood, man. I understood.
I know, right?
I've been in that boat before. I've seen Vince Young take one of those. I've seen Major Applewhite take one of those. I've seen Gary Gilbert take one of those. I've seen a long run of guys.
It was shocking, man. It was not an experience I was used to.
No. It was 40. It was 49 to. Oh, I forgot last year was pretty bad too. My bad.
Last year was bad,
but otherwise, and no, okay. Shout out to you, Brent Venables. It appears that you are 2-2. You're okay. You got 2021 and you got 2023.
He would no. 2021 was Lincoln Riley. That was his
Okay,
last
so
one.
you're 1-2. Oh, you're right. You're right. My bad. You're 1-2.
Yeah.
Although that was a very Lincoln Riley game that they almost lost
The
in that one.
most.
Now that I remember it. Now that I
The
remember.
most.
Oh, that's the Caleb Williams game.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. That's the Spencer Rattler, the changing of the guard at halftime game.
Like, where's this guy been hiding?
What are we doing? But no, I don't. If they get smoked again, then we absolutely have to say that he has this problem. But this rivalry is weird. Charlie Strong got out of there those 3 years with a win. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
No es posible.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, man.
I think John Blake got him a win too, didn't he?
Oh God, he did. That's right. The thing that people people I talk to are coming back to is like they want to know like is this a Gary Gibbs type situation, right? I mean, Gary Gibbs got one win against Texas in however many years, and it's kind of funny because I feel like in a lot of ways with how it went with Riley leaving and kind of just like putting OU in a massive hole.
Right.
You know, I mean, like if you go back and look at the sanctions that Gibbs was dealing with, that OU got. I mean, that was back when the NCAA got teeth, man.
Yes. Oh, that's no TV.
Yeah.
No bowls.
No bowls, no TV. And then the number of scholarships, like they lost. I mean, it was crazy. It was like 14 scholarships in 2 years or something. I can't remember the exact numbers, but
while Colorado and Nebraska are like it's really the Colorado thing that threw the math off. But like while they are ascending, I have actually long thought that Gary Gibbs got a bit of a bad rap for what it was. But what he did what he couldn't afford to do, which was deep in the tenure have a 6-win season when you really hadn't like put up a big one. The irony, of course, is not really the irony. The next two coaches, we all agree, were worse.
Oh my God.
Like I think nothing is better than the one time that John Malkovich and Howard Stellenberger coached against each other. The two least favorite coaches of all fans of those both teams. It was a tie.
No, God, right? It was so appropriate, man. Yeah.
It was a tie.
But I'm thinking back, man. Though you're talking about the no TV, I remember they would play the games in Oklahoma on Sunday morning. That was the deal they made.
Oh, really?
And it was just like condensed, though. It wasn't like a full broadcast of anything. It was just play. Like it was, that was weird, man.
I'll never forget once we were at my mama's family's house in Oklahoma City. And I don't know if you remember, but it used to be this burger spot called Long Neckers. It was kind of like Fuddruckers, right? And Long Neckers, that was always a highlight of goals that we get to go to Long Neckers. And I'll never forget that one of those years we went to Long Neckers and they did not have the OU game on. They had Oklahoma State on because apparently the manager was an OSU fan or something like that. But now that I look back on it, I think it was just because those Oklahoma games weren't actually on television.
Yeah, that's
that year.
Very possible, man. Yeah,
that you make a great point that people forget. Actual enforcement got to be bad for business for everybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, the NCAA used to show up.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, oh, you give this guy plane tickets. Now, of course, the guy got a whole lot more than just plane tickets, but that's what they had him on. You know, that's the mail fraud or whatever they got him on.
Yeah. That is actually a funny thing about the NCAA. Now that I look back on it, is them deciding, oh, if we caught this $150, there must have been tens of thousands really behind it, which may be true, but kind of crazy what they would do over $200.
Right. I mean, yeah. Or like, oh, you know, you paid for a kid to go somewhere for a funeral. Like, you got you.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Oh, man, yeah.
We knew we'd catch you being weak.
Yeah. And now look at it, man. It's like, not only are they giving the money to kids directly, but like they're using it for like tax write-offs.
Yes.
Well,
also, do you see now that they're about to get the DB coach, or they've gotten on the DB coach in North Carolina because he gave a family sideline passes? Yeah. And I can only imagine, like, this is like the FBI is now working traffic stuff because they don't really have anything to do anymore. I mean, their enforcement staff have been whittling away for the longest, but they don't have anything to do anymore. And so I'm like, oh, they are going to get in his ass about this sideline pass.
Right in North Carolina of all places,
Oh
too,
God,
right now. Right now.
that's a man. I tell you, I wish that you were a fan of UNC because that'd be a fun show to do a podcast
Oh
about.
gosh, can you imagine, man? Oh man, oh man, that's just I don't even know where I wouldn't even know where to start, man, with that. Oh,
It is
the,
nobody. I've never seen a situation where nobody is happy.
no,
No,
no.
and you know what? And this is something I'll say, and it ties back to what we're talking about with these schools. And the thing that I kind of wondered about Venables, because Venables is kind of a just the facts sort of dude, right? Kind of
Mm,
straight laced. And an important thing about buying time at your on your college football job is it's got to be fun, right?
mm,
Like if you're not going to be good, this needs to be fun. So like I think about it, this really holds in basketball. So
yeah,
like Billy Tubbs, for example, even if they weren't gonna be good in a given year, it was gonna be fun,
yeah.
right? You're gonna Kelvin Sampson, it better be good because it's not going to be fun, right? And so he consistently stayed good. Herb Sendek was the guy in North Carolina State in basketball that was pretty good, but it was no fun,
Yeah.
right? If you're not gonna be fun, you're going to need to be good. And so for Venables, for example, like when it gets dicey at the margins, how much fun are we really having is a thing.
Yeah.
And at North Carolina, they're not having any fun because it's only fun with Belichick if you win. And
Oh
people
yeah,
are in
yeah.
it. And you could argue that people are in this because they want their teams to win. No, they're in this because it's fun.
Right. Yeah. I
And
mean,
once it
yeah.
stops being fun, they're out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all those those press conferences with him back in the day when it was, oh, well, well, why'd you go for go for the touchdown here late in the fourth quarter when you're up 70? And he was like, well, do you want us to kick a field goal?
This is right. No, man, we are here for the good time. And
Yeah.
he is at it. And also, I know we're getting far afield, but I'll still say it. This is the thing. You know the years at OU when people have like stopped showing up and what it took for that to happen.
Yeah. A lot. Yeah.
It don't take that much in North
Mm,
Carolina.
no,
The basketballs are bouncing as we speak.
yeah.
They will
Yeah.
move on
Yeah,
like
for sure, man.
that. They're like the city of Houston is like that in professional sports. Go ahead and get bad. See
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
See what
Yeah.
we do,
Yeah.
which is something else.
Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up here, but I gotta share something with you because I'm very appreciative of this, Bo. Earlier this year, I had an interview for a basketball coaching job here locally, and I go in and I don't, I know a little bit about the program, about the coach, but I knew he was straight man-to-man defense. That's it. So we get about halfway through, and he asked me, "Oh, so like, what kind of concepts, what kind of schemes do you like?" And I was like, "Well, you know, my friend Bomani Jones, he has a saying, zone is for cowards." And I could not agree more. he loved it. He laughed it up, man. I mean, it was so clutch, man. Like it was so, I got to thank you so much for that, man. For
Hey man, I appreciate it. I'm glad to hear you guys are raising fine young men out here. You know what I mean? Or young ladies. Let me not be
Yeah.
presumptuous, but either way, you're doing it right.
Oh, well, I appreciate it, Bo. I appreciate it. Hey, so anything else you want to promote or got going on or
Hey
just the
man,
show?
the right time with Bomani Jones. Check us out wherever you get your podcast. We are there, and I greatly appreciate having this invitation every year, man. It is annual tradition, and so I appreciate you thinking of me.
Absolutely. Every year, man. I so appreciate you making time for me too. So, Bo, thanks so much, man.
No problem, man. You have a good one.
All right. Thanks so much to Bomani Jones, host of The Right Time with Bomani Jones from Wave Originals. Make sure to check him out wherever it is you get your podcasts. And thanks to y'all for joining us too. For Through the Keyhole, I'm Alan Kenny. Take it easy, y'all.